Hello, hello, and welcome, or should I say ho, 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 Christmas cousins? I'm Cousin Chad.
And I'm Cousin Seth.
And we have a really exciting show today. We have two amazing returning guests. We are going to be covering Hallmark's Twas the Date Before Christmas. I don't want to give anything away, but it was an absolute banger. And I just had to say, for those of you who are new to the show, and I know, as we say, there's 27.1 million daily listeners these days. There's not that many new people, but I'm Cousin Chad. I love the holidays. I love the seasons. My dear Cousin Seth, who is actually my real cousin. People think I just, say you are because you're mass wealth and I want to get into your will, Seth. No, I was born into it. He was not into the holidays, the seasons. He was doing nothing. He was drinking black coffee during PSL season. He was watching like regular movies during Christmas season. It was driving me crazy. I said, Seth, let's take a journey. Let's teach you all about it. We started a podcast. We did it. The journey's been loving it. Seth has become a worldwide global phenomenon. They call him Hollywood's It Boy, the darling of the elite society. All these names, I don't know. I was reading about you in the New Yorker magazine, Seth. There's a whole thing. But anyway.
Oh, wow, I haven't seen that piece.
Oh, yeah. It's just one and another for you. But this is nothing compared to our two guests. Now, we have, from the heart of reviews, a returning guest, one of the fan favorites here, Kacy. Thank you, Kacy. Welcome, welcome.
I appreciate it. I'm so glad to be here again.
Yes, you are a true Hallmark expert in every sense of the word. And our live studio audience, they just love you. They're huge. I mean, look they're holding up signs.
I love
Kacy,
them.
The Heart of Reviews has our hearts. It says one sign over there. It's fantastic. So, and Kacy, you're down in Florida, correct?
I am, yes.
Okay. So you're expecting a white Christmas this year?
Oh, absolutely. Sand.
Right.
That's white.
Yes, white sand. That's right. That's true. And another person who's a newcomer to this show, so I hope he's comfortable on here. You haven't seen him on our show recently. It's Joe, the Christmas aficionado. We know him. We love him. Joe, welcome back.
Hello.
Listen
Wow.
To that crowd go
Wow.
crazy. Wow.
That's crazy.
Can I pull the crowd real fast? Joe, you might be up there with Seth. Let me just ask real fast. Okay, audience. Are you a huge Joe fan? Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let's see what's going on. Pretty good applause. Okay.
Yeah.
It's building into a crescendo. Okay. That's not bad. All right. I'm not even going to ask them about me because we know how that's going to go. But what about
Generally positive, I think.
Yeah, but once I say these two magical words, Cousin Seth. Woo! That's right. It's a party here. I love it. Love the live studio. Love our guests, Cousin Seth. It's great to have you. So let's get into it. Again, without giving too much away, we're going to be talking about Twas the Date Before Christmas. And let me just give a little preamble. So I text Cousin Seth because I know he didn't watch it first night or second night, and it's Sunday afternoon. And I go, dude, just so you know, it's a good movie. I'm not going to, give you too much about it. And then Seth, about a minute later, I wish you have the text. Maybe you do. About a minute later, I text Seth, and I'm like, okay, here's the deal. And I just start going on. Seth, did you have it? Do you want to read it? I know I send you like a million a day. You might not find it, but
It'd be
anyway.
buried in there. I'll take a look for it.
If you find it. Quick first impressions, and I'll go into synopsis. Kacy, first impression of this one, the opening movie of the season.
I thought it was a great movie to kick off the 15th annual Countdown to Christmas. I thought that It really cemented what Countdown to Christmas is really all about.
Oh, I love that. I thought that too. Excellent. And that's Kacy's at The Heart of Reviews on Instagram. You're also on YouTube as well, but you're more active on Instagram?
Yes. Yeah, I review pretty much all the movies on Instagram, and the special ones get a special YouTube review.
Oh, fun. So I know you did your review for this one the next day. You had them up very promptly. And I love reading your reviews, but I did not read it because I wanted to hear it for the first time on air. So I will read it after. I did really enjoy your review of Holiday Crashers. That was great. I think I commented, actually.
You did.
I was compelled to comment. Yes. And I have not seen Scouting for Christmas yet, just the beginning. Now, Joe, what was your initial impression? First movie of the season, Twas the Date Before Christmas, Joe.
Well, this is a movie that I said was going to be a really good one, and yes. I was right because this was
right.
This was one of the best movies that they've put out in a while. I actually did watch a couple Hallmark movies that were not Christmas, and those were bad. This one was spectacular.
Excellent. Wow.
Yeah, no, I loved it.
Wow. Wait, when you say the band ones, didn't you watch Haunted Wedding? You didn't like that? I liked it.
It was fine. I like this
Okay,
one a lot better. It didn't have
Casey's doing the
Christmas.
same. That's true. It was missing
Yeah.
Christmas. Kacy, you didn't like it, Haunted Wedding?
It was fine. I got a little bored.
Wow. Okay. I liked it. Seth, first initial thoughts of we're doing Twas the Date Before Christmas, not Haunted Wedding now.
Okay.
Seth,
Yeah. I'm like, wait, did we do this one already? So I did find your, I say I could have gone into it a little biased because I think I did find your text, but there were also some other ones going around. There was very much the liberal use of the word banger.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's the right one. Not sure if you saw any yet. The first two movies of the season are absolute bangers. Won't give any away too much before our so wow, instant classics. Wow, enjoy.
I mean, Seth, I'm also your professional hype man, so maybe I boosted it up a little bit, but I really enjoyed this movie. What were your initial impressions, Seth?
I loved it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Right from the get-go, I thought...
you watched it with a get-go? I don't understand what's
going on. Really weird and interesting.
It's weird, yeah.
The pacing of the movie was perfect. I didn't get bored at all. The only part where I really started to fall, or where I actually fell off at all, was when she starts talking about Sean, the you know who, the ex.
Oh, right. Yeah, that did bring it down a little bit for sure. Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, I mean, the movie, like right from the get-go, it was just like lots of action, but the pacing of it was really nice. Yeah. Gunfights and all sorts of stuff.
Car crashes.
Yeah.
That snowball dodge fight scene was just spectacular. It was so fast paced.
Yeah.
I think he went like that and threw the ball with the snowball.
Right. No, it was I enjoyed it a lot.
Good. I'm glad, Seth, because it's hard when the kickoff one is so much anticipation and excitement for months when that one's not fun and exciting. So I'm glad. It was a good start for all of us. So let me just give a very short synopsis. Everybody's listening. If you didn't watch it, you might even want to pause and watch it and come back. Just watch. Just listen first. That's more important. In Twas the Date Before Christmas, Jessie, a single woman still grieving the loss of her fiancé, finds herself in an awkward holiday situation when she impulsively tells her family she's bringing her new boyfriend to their annual Christmas Eve celebration. Trouble is, there is no boyfriend. So in a last-ditch effort, she finds a blind date. We've all been there. Brian on a dating app. I need to work on my comma usage. What starts as a chaotic family event turns into an unexpected romantic connection as Brian and Jessie improvise a fake relationship in front of her boisterous family. Amidst the Christmas chaos, Brian's secret involvement in a controversial real estate project threatening Jessie's sister-in-law's business adds to the drama. As the holiday antics and emotions escalate, will Brian and Jessie's faux romance turn into something real? And there you go. That's what it was about. That's enough to give away. So we have some segments we're going to go into, which we kind of already gave the overall feeling. So maybe I jumped the gun there, but what can I say? I was excited about this one. This was like as good as almost up there with Picture a Perfect Christmas, the seminal Citizen Kane of Hallmark movies. Maybe right up there with Christmas in Montana, even, which we all love.
Oh my God.
Right, audience?
Yeah.
We can ask the audience and see what they think. Okay, audience. You have buzzers at your chairs. Do you agree with Joe that it wasn't good? Okay. Do you agree with Cousin Chad that Christmas in Montana is amazing? I mean, the audience, I don't make this stuff up, Joe. The audience is the audience, They have free will. Am I right, audience?
It's not that Christmas Montana isn't good. It's just so boring.
I like it. There's a witty dialogue, and Montana looks fun, too.
There's no witty dialogue. There is no witty dialogue.
I beg to differ. At the beginning, they talk about the there's like a they're getting a candy cane, a root beer sassafras or something. I don't know. St. Nick's Knacks. All right, maybe I'll have to watch it again sober one time. So here's the first one: holiday vibes check, overall feeling. So I know we kind of went into this, but let's just rate. Did this film sparkle with festive joy, or did it fizzle out with a busted string of lights? I think we're all in agreement here, right, everybody? Kacy, you're in agreement?
Absolutely. Yeah. So much Christmas.
Yes. Joe, agreement?
Oh, yeah. It's filled with Christmas. It's amazing.
Yeah, every scene seemed to be littered with Christmas stuff.
And Seth's big problem with Haunted Wedding was it wasn't Christmassy enough. So this really made up for that, which I love that comment on a Halloween movie. That was my favorite. So let's get right into our favorite parts, stocking stuffer moments, as we're calling them. So thank you, Seth. These themes you came up with are fantastic. So what scene made your heart grow 3 sizes? Maybe your performance felt as comforting as sipping hot cocoa by the fire, or a plot twist like a well-timed carol. So which one shined like Rudolph's nose? Kacy, we'll go to you first. What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was really just the twist on fake dating. So Hallmark has always loved fake dating movies, like Holiday Engagement was one of the first ones, which I think is a really well done film. But then to twist it and have fake dating also be real dating, I thought was really inventive. Like the fact that they are genuinely on a real date, but then also have to act like they've been on a lot of dates. I just found that super fun, added a lot of layers to it. And it allowed us to actually see their relationship grow in a really nice way, but also start in a place that we never really get to see on Hallmark, like a genuine blind date.
Right. I like that. Right. So we're watching a fake date and a real date at the same time.
Yeah.
I like that take.
Which is bizarre.
Okay. Yeah, that was bizarre. Yeah, Joe, your initial thoughts, your stocking stuffer moments.
So I think the entire environment of that house was pure Christmas.
Yes.
The kitchen with all the food, like when they walk in and you see all the food that the stepfather made, I was like, oh my God, that's great. I think there's a room that's dedicated to wrapping paper, which that's pretty sweet. I just think everything. I will say the only Christmas thing that they failed at was I felt like the exterior lights were kind of lame.
At the end, you mean the big show?
Yeah, I was expecting like this big moment, and it's like they kind of blinked and they blinked the music, and that was fine. And that's probably about as good as I could do, maybe a little better. But that was the only part I was like, oh, that's a big fail. I was expecting like this big light show and music and everything else, and we didn't quite get that. But
they actually turned the camera away at that point. It seemed like that's another segment called Lump of Coal, least favorite part. That's number 3, Joe. So
okay. Well, I don't know the segments, and Seth was supposed to let me know, and he forgot.
Right.
So,
yeah. Next year.
But I mean, there were candles everywhere. There was lights, and it was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah.
The house.
I love that. Mm-hmm. That's a good way to put it. I like that. The house is great. So we have the fake dating that was real dating. We have the house. Cousin Seth, your favorite part, your stocking stuffer moment, as we call it, trademark.
I did like the idea of it's a blind date in this very family intensive situation. You crash or fail, and seemed to go pretty well. I liked that the whole idea of why he was there and stuff like that. They didn't go back to it a lot. They waited for a little of the ways in to actually bring it up. But all over the place.
Well, Seth, were you getting vibes because you started dating Mrs. X? So this is your first holiday season with her, and she has a big family that celebrates the holidays, and they sound like they go all out. So this is similar to what you're going through in real life right now.
Right. Yeah. To some extent, to see a lot of parallels and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. That's what a big family Christmas looks like. And they're doing all this stuff. And I'm like,
interesting. So this is for you very almost like art imitating life, so to speak.
Right.
Okay. I love that. Well, for me, my favorite stocking stuffer moment was, it's kind of a take on what you were saying, Kacy. I like that we were watching it almost in real time. Sometimes you're watching 2 weeks of meeting and dating, or a month, but it's over 2 hours. This was only like 6 hours, say, condensed into 2 hours. So we were actually watching it in real time, which is really cool. Because I was like, oh yeah, it's still the same day. So that timing, you don't see that a lot, where it all takes place in one day. I love that about it. Very cool. So we're going to move on to Lump of Coal, least favorite part. This is a breaking news, one of the hottest segments going right now on the show. The Lump of Coal trademark. Seth, I know your team of lawyers is working on trademarking that. So Joe, we'll go with you here because you already touched on it, but maybe you have a part you like least over the light. Your least favorite part, your lump of coal moment.
So we have the traditional trope that a property owner is now going to repossess or kick somebody out of their property. This small business is just trying to make things well because they're greedy and they're a property developer, and you can't be that and have Christmas spirit at the same time. So we have that traditional trope. It's all over Hallmark movies. It's probably I would probably say 40% of the movies feature a property developer. It's the worst job to have if you're in a Hallmark movie.
Right.
So that didn't surprise me, and I didn't hate that specific part. I just didn't understand why he had to like come up with a new way to do things on Christmas Day or Eve, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He owns the company. So just say,
Right.
You know what? We're going to take a week to think about this after Christmas because the guy asked his coworker to show up at this house and say, hey, I had an idea. How about we just do mixed use? Because that's something we should decide on Christmas Eve, take you away from your family and just, make that work on Christmas Eve. He owns the company. He can say, forget it. I'm not going to evict you. We'll figure out another way and just end it there. Yeah. I don't think that storyline was needed at all. I think it would have been better if they would have discovered that they were secretly dating. He was embarrassed by that, or the family was kind of taken back by that. So, and then he discovers, say hello, everybody. Say hello, and then said, they realized we don't actually are dating and maybe I shouldn't be here. And he leaves because he discovers that her ex-fiance died. That's a great way to end that. We did not need that whole storyline. It felt that was the worst part of the movie. I thought it was pushed in there too much. I think they should have gotten rid of it. And I think that movie probably would have skyrocketed to easily in the top 10.
Wow. Okay. Kacy, I see you shaking your head. You agree with that a lot.
I do. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. When I was rating this movie, it lost a lot of points on plot specifically because of this overused, tired trope. Also, especially because the ending was like, he had to explain what a mixed-use development is as if it was something he just invented. And everyone was like, that's insane. And that's dumb.
Retail on the bottom, apartments on top.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. That happens everywhere. So either he's an idiot or, I don't know, Hallmark just discovered this. Mm-hmm. So I found that really tired. However, it wasn't my lump of coal, technically. Oh. I mean, it was up there, but I was hoping someone else would say it. So, if I may, my lump of coal,
perfect segue,
is I think they were just so nonchalant about her fiance who has recently died. Like, it has been less than a year, presumably, if it is now the Christmas after the Christmas where he passed.
You said it was about a year at one
exactly.
point.
So, yeah. So, like, he got sick and died at Christmas. So it's been a year. But
at the Family Olympics.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Just in the middle of it.
I missed that part.
But like, they were all so nonchalant about it, and clearly Hallmark was just setting it up as some sort of like mysterious exposition. You're trying to figure out who Sean is, why she has this tie to some guy. They wanted you to question it, but then everyone is just like, oh, you're taller than he was, or like, oh, here's this picture in the kitchen, or let's just talk openly about her dead fiance. It just felt very not real and very ungrounded. And I really wanted that plot line to be important. Like, I wanted to be able to see her grieve. She lost a man at Christmas. It's clear that she's going to have so many feelings about it. And we just didn't get that much time to sit with what that really means for her, which I thought, they were trying to make it pure comedy, but it just fell flat on that angle for me because I really wanted to see the emotional fallout from something so tragic.
Right. Like maybe she has a flashback to her and Sean doing something at that exact moment that her and Brian are doing that same activity or something.
I mean, she casually read the letter that fell into her suitcase, which came out of nowhere. Like, she's like, "Oh, how did that get there?" And then later on, she's just reading it, like this letter that he wrote her to read on the first Christmas that he's gone. That's what she said. And so she's just like, "Oh yeah, I guess I should just read this letter now. Everything's falling apart. Might as well just do that." I mean, I think the only thing I would say against that is in the beginning they were going to cancel everything. And because, and I think it's because of him.
Yes.
And she basically said no, you know, but she doesn't even need to bring a fake fiance then, because all she has to do is say, "Hey, you know, my fiance's dead and I would like to have the traditional celebration. So how about we just do that?" And her family would have said, "Sure," and then there would not be any relationship in this movie wouldn't exist.
Yeah, so, her family was just like so weird about it though. Like they wouldn't let her grieve. They just kept talking about him. They kept comparing Brian to him. They were just like, "Oh, it's weird that she hasn't talked about her dead fiance yet." Like, they just did not understand her.
But we love this movie, so we know.
Yes, we do love it. And I'm just thinking no one likes Sean. That was my vibe. Like they didn't think it was a good fit maybe the whole time. It is very easy for Hallmark to just have written Sean as like, he just left, like, or what any other storyline besides dead and sad. But Seth, what was your
job or whatever?
Yeah, anything, right. What was your lump of coal?
Kind of both of those. But one thing that kind of stuck in my craw was the I don't know, maybe something I've seen before, but Brian, whenever he's wearing a scarf, albeit it was tied properly, he just looked like he was being choked. Like it was like restricting his acting ability. He was like, "Well, what do I do with this thing around my neck?" Like it was an 8 foot long boa constrictor. I don't know why I got probably the same reason why I got hung up on the candle on the edge of the table. I'm like, yes, burn the entire set down.
Kacy, Seth was sending a picture during it, and he was worried about the candle placement, that it was a fire hazard. This is how Seth can't relax and watch a movie. He's worried about strangulation and candles.
I thought for sure. Yeah, I thought that for sure that was going to be your least favorite part, Seth, was the candle placement.
It just seemed weird. Like, I don't know. I mean, look, I haven't done a lot of acting. But I think, you know, you're wearing a scarf or something like that. Maybe you tug on or something like that. Just some sort of adjustment. He seemed like he was just really stuck. It was just like.
Said, is it the Cindy Brady theory, would you call that? His biggest problem is that his scarf is too tight, basically?
I don't know how to work with this.
All right. Well, Seth, okay, that's a perfect segue for the next segment, which is Santa's Weird List, the weirdest or most ridiculous moment. But I do have to say, my lump of coal, the one moment that, again, it's dealing with his death. I felt so badly for Sean when she was like, this is a good guy. He saved my sister-in-law. She goes, whoop, and takes her ring off. Like, I was like, oh, Sean's passed away. She literally physically, like, you could still keep that and still love this new guy and honor the old one at the same time. That something about that physical motion to me made me very sad. Good thing I blocked it out a second later and I was like, this movie's a banger. But at that one moment, they did kind of like a close up of her taking the ring off. And it was just gross to me. It just seemed very cold, very cold. But maybe we shouldn't revisit this. It might go down in my estimation. So, but a cold moment, my teeth chattering. But we're going on to our Santa's Weird List, the weirdest or most ridiculous moment, which for me, if I can jump in, was Seth talking about the scarf. But that's not technically the movie. So Seth, why don't you go first on this one? This is going to be good.
Oh, no, I might need some time to think about this one.
Oh, you want? I like because Seth wants to say, he agrees with what you two chose.
What are you guys thinking? Let's do this as a group thing, a group panel.
You don't have to go first then. I know you haven't finished the movie yet, probably. You're watching it as another screen.
I watch a lot of these movies. I think of you. I was just like, well, how would Chad watch? You know, I think of things that you've identified when we've watched them or reviewed them and stuff like that. Obviously the feels, but a lot of how.
Can I say, Seth?
What's that?
Not only did Kacy, you mention the other movie, Holiday Party Crashers, had the surprise Vermont trip. So you mentioned that because you know my affinity for these movies in Vermont. When we were just talking to John from Hit or Miss Hallmark on Joe's channel, he said he and Danielle were watching and the same thing, like, we thought of you when they went to Vermont. So now I'm the guy from Vermont, which I've only been like once. So
who lives
Seth,
in
you're saying,
who lives in the southern part of the state.
right, pretty far from Vermont. Yes. So Seth, you're saying, what is your weirdest moment?
I don't know. I don't know that I had one. I mean, I don't know. It was a nice movie. I didn't think nothing struck me really odd. I mean, or weird, particularly weird. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, you can piggyback on Joe and Kacy. Then we'll have them go, and then we'll go back to you. And you go, I like what
can
they
I just
chose.
use the scarf thing again? Is that okay?
Yeah, that was weird. So, Kacy, what do you think? What was your weirdest or most ridiculous moment? What part of the movie had you questioning if the writers had one too many eggnogs?
I just didn't really understand the judging system for the Christmas Olympics. I loved the Christmas Olympics. I really don't like competitions at Christmas, but I was really I was into it because I didn't feel like they were mean to each other. Even though the mom kept choosing Brian instead of her own daughter, I would have been pissed if I was her daughter. But like, I didn't understand why the aunt wasn't judging everything, or like grandpa, who they said only comes for the food, but then he didn't even like eat the baked goods. Like that could have been his job. But if someone is judging, then they don't get to win the points. But it seemed like not everyone had to judge. It just didn't seem like a fair system to me. So I had questions about that. I don't think they really thought that one through.
Yeah, I thought the same thing because I'm like, all of a sudden that one lady was judging the gift wrapping and like, but she can't compete. So that's a good point. I thought that was weird. Okay. Joe, do you have a Santa's weird list, weirdest or most ridiculous moment, highlighting the most what in the North Pole happened here moment?
Yeah. So, obviously I didn't have a chance to think about these things before, but I think my weirdest moment would be as a guy. And now I've never used a dating app because I was married well before dating apps ever existed. But if I were to use one, I don't think I would respond to a dating app request saying, hey, come to my family's Christmas celebration that you don't know and pretend to be, that we've been seeing each other for a while and agreed to do that. Now, I will say, hey, if it was Amy Groening and I saw her picture, I was single, I maybe I would, but he didn't seem to be all that desperate. He's just like, okay, I'll try. Why not? This sounds fun. It's not real life.
I will say that part is based on a true story. Like apparently, apparently the writer wrote it. I don't know if it was the writer's life or somebody they know, but like somebody asked for a blind date to meet their whole family on Christmas, and I don't know if it worked out, but some guy went and actually did it.
Oh wow. I could see Seth doing that actually for the adventure of it.
Absolutely would. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. That's okay. That's interesting. For me, the weird moment, what was with the grandma and the driver, and she wouldn't admit they were dating, and he kept coming back, and they clearly had a thing. I'm like, why are we embarrassed by this guy? He seems like a nice enough guy. Like, what was that? And it just was weird. It was just weird to me. I didn't get it.
Like a peek of him, like in the beginning, he drops her off or something like that, and he ducks out. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's the grandma's embarrassed of his job. He's an Uber driver, so she just didn't want to admit that she liked an Uber driver.
But I think or is he just a man who's picking everyone up from the airport because he's dating the grandma?
Right.
Possibly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's possible.
I thought the same thing. We don't know. That's why it was the weirdest moment. I was like, and it wasn't necessary. We want her to find love, but I don't know. That was weird. So,
and also everyone gets a second chance romance in this movie. So like she, her fiance's dead, so she's kidding with Brian. And the mom has Marcus, who's very strange, but I love him. And then the grandma deserves to get someone. I don't know if it was supposed to be like paralleling her relationship with Brian because she was also lying about it. But it was strange.
Well, let me go on that because that's very funny. You said the second chance romance because the next segment is the Christmas wish list. What would you change? So for me, because everybody does get their second chance here, I thought they missed something because all the characters were great. first of all, the dad or whatever that was cooking, I loved him. He was such a fun character. He was awesome the way he was into it. But everyone gets a second chance. But why couldn't they have done a little dream sequence where Sean is dating the lady from Ghosts of Christmas Always, and they have a romance going on? If I could change anything, he should have a happy ending instead of the ring getting taken off. That's just me, though. So, yeah, that would be fun, right? Like they're in the afterlife, but it's like a snow globe, and he's dating Kim Matula's character from Ghost of Christmas Always. It would be a great synergy for Hallmark and crossover. Is she in a movie this year? Kim Matula, she's really good.
Yeah, she's in the finish line. She's also currently in Saturday Night, which is in movie theaters, playing Jane Curtin.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow,
she was great.
Okay. Wow. Okay, I did not know that. So let's see. The next Christmas wish. What would you change? Kacy, what would you change in this movie? And don't say you would have the deceased fiance date the lady from Ghost of Christmas Always. That's been taken. That's the obvious one, but it's been taken.
Well, shucks.
I took your answer.
You did. I wouldn't take out Sean, although a lot of people on the internet were saying that they would. But I wouldn't tease him as a mystery. Like, I would genuinely let people grieve. I would hear about him. I would hear stories. I would let her talk about him. I would just make him like a real presence in this movie, not just some random guy in a picture. Also, I would make the Olympics make sense.
Yes, but Kacy, you're absolutely right. They should have made it where he was either an ex, because the way they treated it so lightly that he was like an ex that they broke up, and he's like much taller than the other one, meaning much taller than the dead guy. Like when in that context, it's kind of mean. But you're absolutely right. If he was an ex, it wouldn't have been a big deal. And okay, Joe, what about you? Christmas wish list. What would you change?
Well, I think I already talked about what I would change with the changing around the greedy property developer the storyline. So let me come up with something different. I would have moved that nice house into Vermont, so that Chad would have said this would have been the greatest movie ever made.
I like that. So, okay, that's you shaking the snow globe and reimagining the film, and I like that a lot. Move it to Vermont. They should all be in Vermont. Seth, number 1, are we doing a Christmas Cousin special in Vermont? Number 2, what was your Christmas wish list? What would you change?
I would love to do anything in Vermont. Never been there, so yeah, absolutely.
Oh, really?
Let's set it up and do it.
Okay.
I think, I'd say after we were talking, I kind of shaped this thought, but getting rid of that businessman trope, going into the small town and all that stuff. I think it may be like Brian he has a crappy history of dating. He's on apps, stuff like that. It's going bad. He's just doing all these conventional ways. And he's just like, you know what? And then this comes out of nowhere or something like that. He's like, I'm going to give it a try. And stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe that makes it an awful movie.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. I like that. So our last segment, our elf rating, our overall rating. So out of 5, you can make it out of 5, whatever you want. It can be 5. It's up to you. So how many elves would you give this flick, or whatever rating system you have? Kacy, let's start with you. We're going to give the ratings.
For the moment you've all been waiting for.
That's right, everybody.
Okay. What I gave on my Instagram was a 7.4 out of 10, which I think is probably lower than what the 3 of you are thinking. But it lost some points for me for the general plot things.
Right.
But that's that's my solid. So I would say that's like a 3 out of 5 elves. Like that's
okay.
Yeah.
3 out of 5 though, so that's only a 60% if you were grading, because you are a teacher, from what I understand. Sometimes. So that would be a D, right? Okay,
I mean, it's like a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay, I don't know. Your rating's your rating. I just lower than I thought.
3 out of 5 is like 50%. That's an F.
That's not true. That's not true. There's a curve in Hallmark movies.
Right. Okay, we could make it out of 10 too if you want. You can make it your exact rating. It doesn't. Really matter.
Like it's not bad. I would say it's pretty great. Like I would say like a 7.4 for me is pretty good. It's one that I would not put on again on purpose, but if it was on, I'd be very happy to sit down and watch it.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting way to look at it. Rewatchability. I was ready to watch it again on Sunday. What did you rate Holiday Party Crashers?
Holiday Crashers also got a 7.4 for
Oh, wow.
very different reasons because I rate them out
Okay.
of 10 things. I rate them out of plot, writing, characters, acting, charm, Christmas magic, emotional payoff, production value, personal enjoyment, and rewatchability.
Oh, those
Which
are
is a
good.
lot of
Seth, write those down
Yeah.
so we could borrow those. Yeah, those are nice.
I have to listen back to this episode.
Yeah,
That
and that's
is good.
at the Heart of Reviews, everybody, on Instagram, at the Heart of Reviews. Check it out. Kacy does a great job over there. And there's a lot of
Thank you.
personality in your writing too, which is fun to read those. So Joe, what are you giving this your rating system here?
So I think the one thing I didn't get the chance to rave about this movie is that this is an Amy Groening's first solo role. She's not playing the best friend. She's not playing the woman, the kooky woman who draws pet pictures. She's not sharing it with Hunter King. This is her first role where she is the star, and she deserves it. She has the times that she has been a secondary character, she has stood out over a lot of the main stars. And so I was very happy about that, to finally see her do that. I think the chemistry between her and Robert Buckley was off the chart. They looked like they were ready to just go up and lock the door and skip those family Olympics. The way that they were looking at each other, and that's what you want to see. That's the chemistry that you want to see in these films. And a lot of times there's going to be goofy things like the Olympics. There's going to be property developing, all sorts of things that go on. But the main story is, do they work together well? And they worked spectacular. And I would say out of 10, I would give this an 8.5.
Wow. Oh my. Wow. And oh wow. Okay. And the only thing is, if they did go upstairs, those relatives were so nosy, they'd be at that door trying to bust in. So they wouldn't even leave them alone at the front porch. But wow, 8.5,
Yeah.
Joe, that's like, again, another explosion. That's crazy.
That's like a B,
Yeah, but that's high. Okay. Cousin Seth,
I don't even.
what are you, and don't be swayed by any of them, because I am.
Not to. I mean, there's such a steep panel, but you guys clearly know these things, these movies. You've seen them. Obviously, it changed, but yeah, I would say I'd have to give it like probably 8 out of 10. I mean, comparing it to other ones I've seen. I don't know if my criteria is as strict as some others, but as far as the ones I've seen, it's definitely up there.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. Kacy, who kept with the 5 rating, which we said, although I like to add a 10 better, actually, because it's a little more room to go, to be a little more nuanced.
You can take my 7.4.
Okay. I think it would be it's tough because there were a couple things that threw it off. But for me, does it give the Christmas feels? Was I happy watching it? And would I watch it again? There's so many that I wouldn't watch again, and there's so many that I would watch over and over and over. I was thinking there's not that many from 2023 that I would actually want to rewatch compared to previous years. I have like a list of ones that I just like have to watch. We should do a show on that set. That'd be fun, like the must watches. Joe will laugh the whole time because nobody else likes them. But my overall rating of this, I'm actually giving it a full-on 9 out of 10.
Oh wow!
First one of the season. I was super excited, and I just enjoyed it. I sat back and I enjoyed it, and that's what I want. Other than the Sean thing, which was weird, because they could have easily changed that. It was great. The Olympics were great. The family was fun. I wanted to hang in. The house was beautiful. I wanted to hang out with the family. Yes, the whole thing that was like ridiculous, like you point out, Joe, like the guy brings this guy in Christmas Eve. I have to rant about this real fast. Brings him in Christmas Eve and acts as if he has to convince this other guy. And then finally the guy goes, "Oh, it's your company." like, why did you bring him?
Drag me all the way down here for that.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But still, it was sweet that the guy did it. The chemistry was awesome between the two. The family was great. I could hang out with them all day. It was fun. All the actors were really good, from the adults to the kids. So overall, yes, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. The first 2 movies of this season, I really, really enjoyed. we'll see about the rest. But it's a great start, the best start that I can recall, back-to-back movies. So it was really good. So this was good. We covered a lot of ground, everybody. This is perfect.
If it would have taken place in Vermont, would it have been a 10?
In Vermont, you say? Oh, would have just broken through the ceiling. We're talking full on, like, we're talking an 11. I would have just,
Why bother watching any other movies this season?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would. Yeah, we might just ended it right there, Seth. That's it. The show's over. Yeah. So that's it. So everybody, thank you so much. Check out Joe on YouTube, the Christmas Aficionado on YouTube. He just passed the 5,000 subscriber mark, or hit it at least. So we're very excited. He's breaking new glass every moment and breaking through the ceiling, which is really great. And check out Kacy at The Heart of Reviews on Instagram. Her reviews are great. You're a fantastic guest to have on. We appreciate you guys being here tonight. Cousin Seth, who's fighting a cold and being here, which is wonderful. How are you feeling, Seth? Quick update.
Better. Yeah, I had some, I took a few things. Right things, but and all the colors are so amazing. I'm feeling better. So thank you.
Okay. Good. I was worried about you. Well, Seth, thank you for being here. Everybody check us out at Christmas Cousins Pod. That's at Christmas Cousins Pod, or christmascousinspod@gmail.com. Write us, send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. A rating, a review, anything would be great. This was a party. Audience, thank you for showing up. You're the best. It was a real party vibe kicking off the season. I'm so excited. Let's do this Jersey Shore Christmas style. Oh, yeah. Pump that fist, Seth.